Welcome to the Jen Cares Powered by Chozen Live podcast, a podcast that brings the community to you. Each week, we feature a guest that will help us stay in the know. We are here every Monday at 8 p.m. on Facebook and YouTube. Be sure to like, comment, and share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Now, here's your host, Jen Cares.
Well, good evening and welcome to Jen Cares Powered by Chozen Counselors. I am your host. It pays to bring my mic over. Welcome to Jen Cares Powered by Chozen Counselors. I am your host, Jen Cares, the founder of Chozen Counselors, a nonprofit organization that seeks to inspire, motivate, empower, and strengthen individuals and families. As always, I want to say thank you to each and every one of you for tuning in, for liking, for sharing, and coming back again. I do truly appreciate each and every one of you. Oh, God, I hope that you enjoyed our series from last month, March. I'm still marching. It was such a great series, and I hope that you found something that correlated with your life to encourage you and inspired you to keep on doing this thing called life. Special thanks to Fumi, who came and talked about encouraging yourself because there's so much more to you. Kelly, surviving in spite of, man, that girl. You had to be there. It was really, really good. Dr. Kia, that part where she was talking about my safety and their sanity, my sanity, their safety, whichever way you find it. Sometimes we have to engage in some self-care. And then Beverly closing us out with Dream Again. Friends, whatever your dream is, whatever it is that you are aspiring to do, please don't give up on you. Friends, I am so, so excited. I'm astonished that we are already in April. Like, where is this year going? Like, it's just flying by. But I hope that you are still accomplishing those things that you have set out to do for this year and for yourself. Okay? Why? Because you are important. And it's important that you indulge in some things that bring you joy and not just helping somebody else. Tonight, we kick off our Life Be Lifin' theme. Why? Because I wanted to be a Toys R Us kid, and it didn't quite work out that way. And I'm adjusting to the fact that I can't be a Toys R Us kid, but I ain't gonna hold you. It was an adjustment. Like, I can't be a kid no more. I gotta grow up. I gotta have responsibilities. What does that look like? So that's how we got our month's theme for this month. Life be lifing. And tonight we're gonna kick it off with the amazing Christina as we talk about virtue. Keep on listening. Why? Because it's about to get good. I do hope that you enjoyed tonight, but help me welcome the amazing Christina for Virtue. Woo!
Hey, how are you?
I am doing well, and you, how are you?
I am well. I am well. Thank you so much for having me.
We are so, so grateful that you are here with us. I'm getting tongue-tied and tongue-twisted. I got to get this together.
It's Monday.
It's Monday. You're right. Okay, so all in all, over here at Jen Cares, we always start with a quote of the day. And today's quote of the day is, that's not the right quote. Today's quote of the day is to live a life of virtue, match up your thoughts, words, and deeds. Again, to live a life of virtue, match up your thoughts, words, and deeds. What are your thoughts on that quote?
I think that it aligns with what virtue is, or with what a virtue is. So, such as like dignity, integrity, character. These are all various virtues, but I think it lines up with what that is. Like to match up your thoughts, your words, your deeds, who you are. Like that, those are virtues. That is a virtue.
Why do you think virtue is important?
To me, it is it's who you are. It's the essence of who you are. It's who you represent. So, and it's like in the quote, it says to live a life of virtue, match up your thoughts, your words, your deeds. That is your person. That is who you are. That is who you present to the world. So.
Now, when we talking about this life be life, and we're gonna jump right in it. We over here like to have conversations that are tough conversations, but needed conversations.
Absolutely.
And in that, allowing our character, as you said, for virtue, to
Mhm.
match up with our thoughts, words, and deeds, it's hard sometimes because either we're trying to keep up with the Joneses or life is not life and how we thought it would be life. And why do
Mhm.
you think people struggle with that? Why would you say?
Struggle with life in general, or just measure.
Yeah, well, trying to figure out how to mesh it all together.
I think it just depends upon where they are, just like mentally, what they have going on, like just like how they like what they're dealing with, what they may not have dealt with. That'll determine,
Mhm.
where they are in life and how they approach things and how they address things. So
Yeah, yeah. And that's it, But I will say, trying to match them all up together, sometimes our thoughts and our words, like you can't get the words that you're trying to say, but you're thinking and things of that sort. But the hope is that you process through it because those deeds, those actions sometimes speak louder than words. And we want to be careful of what it is that we have coming out. We can mean that thing and say that thing with our chest. I was watching the video. He was like, I said what I said. Now, what he said was good. But sometimes we say what we said and it's not always good, or it doesn't match up with who we want the world to perceive us to be. And that can be a challenge sometimes.
yes, and I think
Unintentionally and intentionally, right?
right, and I think it's about self awareness in some ways, like knowing, like for instance, whatever this person said, if they were saying something, I don't know if they were like getting off their chest to get back at somebody or if something triggered them,
Mm-hmm.
but to know what that trigger is that caused them to respond or to react in that way,
Mm-hmm.
like that's something too, and that's a part of growing up and being an adult, like knowing what your triggers are, knowing who you are as an individual.
Mm.
So,
So, friends, it is possible we can do it. We can allow it to line up, but it takes some work, I would guess, huh?
oh yeah.
What are the things
And
we got to work on? Let's get into it.
oh Jesus, we got a whole lot of stuff to work on, especially if you're trying to be an adult.
Oh, I did, and see, Toys R Us made it seem so cool, but then they showed us that being a kid was more fun. But go ahead. What are the things you feel like, or some things that come to mind with clients that you work with that need to be worked on and addressed when trying to put your best foot forward?
I think a lot of times it's the mindset that people have, and sometimes it's having a fixed mindset as opposed to a growth mindset,
Mm.
and then understanding what may be some obstacles that you're facing or even addressing those obstacles. But sometimes you got to deal with where you are before you can start addressing some of those obstacles and even addressing some of the things of the past.
Mm. So, friends, we talking about life be life, and if we want to address where we are, I guess we got to be honest.
Oh yeah.
Because we can say, I am the bomb.com and you are. I'm the head and I can tell, and you are. But when we look at the reality of this thing called life, it doesn't always feel that way.
Yeah.
And then that's a struggle.
Like, yes, absolutely. Trying, like, coming face to face with who you are and where you are at this particular moment. It's like, wow, like I didn't realize that about myself.
Mm-hmm.
And that takes deep work. Like that takes intentionality.
Right.
Say, hey, I'm going to work on me right now. Like I'm going to do some personal growth and some personal development, or even acknowledging it. And sometimes we don't even know that that's what we need.
Mm.
So,
and because life be life, and can I be honest and say, I don't always want to do that
either. No,
because
we
it's a
want
process.
to. Sometimes we want to have that funky attitude. We want to be mad. Like I want to be like, I want to be nasty right now. Like, and that's just being honest. Like being honest with your feelings. Being honest, who you are, what you are at that particular point in time. And it's acknowledging it, but then it's okay, how do I move from this? How do I move forward? Like I can't sit in that. I can't stay in that.
Right.
So how do I move forward?
I can't sit in this. I can't stay in this. Oh, why can't I? Because I want to be a Toys R Us kid, Christina. I'm going to be a child today. Okay.
No.
Why can't I sit in it?
No. You can't sit there. You can't grow. You can't be who you're called to be, who you're created to be, sitting there. You can't be your best self. You can't be what you need to be to others, sitting in that spot, staying in that same place.
And I like it because you said it's the fix versus the growth, right? So a fix is the mindset of I'm not moving, I'm having a tantrum, I'm that 2-3-year-old, and it is what it is. This is what's going to happen. Either going to give me what I want, or I'm just going to keep on making all this noise and things. But the growth says that I can't sit there and cry. I can't sit there and keep on pouting. I have to get up and do what I have to do, especially if we're adults, right?
Right. You got to move. Like, okay, put your big girl underwear on and we're like, okay, this is what we're going to do. And I mean, sometimes, and I would say this, it's okay to acknowledge it, but you can't sit there. Like, okay, I want to feel bad right now. Like, this is what I want to do, but I know that I cannot stay in this place. So I have to move on. Sometimes you have to allow yourself to feel, but again, you can't stay there. Oh, God bless you.
Thank you. Acknowledge it, but don't sit there. I like it. So, in thinking of being a kid, I'm gonna bring you with me because right now you let me be the kid by myself, and you like really trying to pull me out, and I appreciate it because life be life, and I have to not be this kid. But what was your favorite thing about being a kid?
Oh gosh, going outside. I would say going outside, playing with my friends, playing with my Barbie dolls, reading. I don't know if kids still read though. Do they still read?
Some.
Okay. Like I used to like reading. What is it? The Sweet Valley High series.
Okay. Yes.
I used to read all of those. Watching Soul Train, Video Soul, playing on my Nintendo. Like those are the things that I liked to do when I was a kid.
Yes. And you know, those were the days. I hope to see kids and like doing those same things, like, you know, the being outside and things. When the weather breaks and I'm riding around the city and you see the kids outside jumping rope or playing a game, it brings my heart joy because those were the days, okay? We didn't have a care in the world. We ride our bike around the corner a couple times, got some water, did it again. But we had a good time. And I think as a child, we did what we had to do with our responsibilities as a child and have a good time. But as an adult, the hope is that we find out how to have a good time as an adult too. And that's hard sometimes. For some people, it's hard because some people like, you know, it is what it is. Live for today, carpe diem, which is great. But we still got tomorrow. We got to be able to pay, make sure we still got a roof over our head. But finding that balance of now being an adult is interesting. Because like as a child, is adulthood what you thought it would be?
No. What? No, I think as a kid, we have these dreams and these aspirations, but as children, we don't recognize that there's a process to get there. So you can say, oh, I'm going to be a doctor, I'm going to be an astronaut, I'm going to be a business owner, but there's a path to get there. And we never consider the path. At least I didn't consider the path. I was just like, no, this is what I'm going to be.
Yes.
Like, this is it. I'm going to go to college. I'm going to get this job and I'm going to be here. But it didn't happen that way.
Got you. Hold on. We have a twin has entered the room. She said Saturday morning cartoons and Soul Train. You know, Saturday morning cartoons. And then at TGIF on Fridays.
Yes.
Can
tell. Boy Meets World and I'm like Friday night. So what came on first? Boy Meets World came, I think, came on second. It was Step by Step, Urkel.
Yes, it matters. You know, those were the good days, you know. And I think sometimes television gives us a glimpse, but it also misses so many other pieces, right? Because you'll see it and it looks like it's so great, it's so grand. And TV has changed from how it used to be. So like we used to really get some fundamental lessons and things of that sort. And now it's like you got to really pay attention to get what they're trying to say, or it's so much reality TV going on. You're trying to catch up and things of that sort. But that portion of our lives, I think, was a good stepping stone or building block in us getting towards adulthood as well.
Right. Just seeing what you could be.
Yes.
What was available to you. I mean, obviously, it's not going to be, solved in 24 minutes. But like on television, but
see, I had to give up on even them Hallmark movies. I said, how they falling up so fast? That was fast.
Hallmark.
They didn't get upset at all. They on for 5 minutes and it was back again. I was so confused. Because that's not how it happened in the real world. No. And in a life be life, and we have to come to the real world to know what is real and what is glamorized.
The
Because even
reality shows are not real. They are scripted. Majority of them are scripted. And
right.
it's just a bunch of drama. I mean, I know people have drama, but it's a little bit too much for a reality show.
I was sharing with you that I've been watching Love Is Blind on Netflix. Season 4.
Mm-hmm.
I skipped this season because sometimes that gets a little messy too. But I also did enjoy Married at First Sight. But I feel like that's a little bit more scripted than I like it to be because there's so much drama, and it's like sometimes you just want to be able to authentically see somebody doing well, right? But then
Right.
the hard part is those things don't go as viral as you would hope it to go, because it's a small story. So the guy in the neighborhood that's trying to help out by cutting the seniors' grass and things like that. So you don't hear about that, but you hear
Right.
about if we did something wrong out there in the streets, right? So trying to really publicize the normalcy of life is so hard to find. And you thinking that you're struggling by yourself and life really be life. And it's like, it's not what I thought it was going to be.
Not at all. Not at all. It's just like I don't know, it just like it hits you like it's like reality, like it's a shocker, and you're like, oh my gosh, like this is not what I thought.
Mm.
This is not what I thought.
So in that thought, right? So adulting, favorite thing about childhood, it wasn't kind of what we thought adulthood would be like. But you shared how like you found like what your goals would be and things, aspirations for life and things. What has helped you to stay focused when finding out that this is not what I thought it was going to be? I would say find somebody else to do it, but it ain't nobody else to do it for me because I got to do it for myself. What has helped you to stay focused and stay grounded in this thing called life?
Pico, RCN.
A true adult.
Look, I got to pay them every month. If I want to talk to you online, I got to pay RCN.
Yeah.
If I want the lights on so I can see, I got to pay Pico.
Yes.
T-Mobile. I want to talk to my family.
Yes.
So I got to pay T-Mobile. State Farm wants their money on the 15th. Like, that's what it is.
Yes. Okay. You really done grew us up because I was thinking it was she like these bills I gotta pay them, so I gotta stay responsible. I gotta have virtue and make sure my actions match my deeds so I can have a roof over my head.
Absolutely.
You're so adult. You're such an adult.
The TransUnion, Experian, they all want love.
Yes.
They're calculating every month what my credit score is going to be. I want that to be good so that when I walk into a dealership, I can tell them what I want, drive off, and not pay a dime. Like that.
To live a life of virtue, match your thoughts, words, and deeds. And that's it of once I have a quality life. And everybody's quality of life is totally different. I saw the video was saying, don't let people pressure you into believing that having a house or purchasing a house is the end all be all. If you love an apartment, be an apartment.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. It's knowing, that's the whole thing. It's like knowing where you are.
Mm-hmm.
It's being aware of what you have, where you are in this particular phase in life. And being an adult is saying, hey, as much as I want that, I'm not ready for that. Or I'm not in a place to financially have that or even maintain it. That's, to me, like that's adulting. It's saying, okay, I can't. Like, okay, everybody's, they ball and they going on trips and stuff like that. Okay. My bank account doesn't say that. It says you can go to the shore for a week, but you can't. No, you're not getting on a plane.
Yes. Yes.
Gas up at Sunoco and drive. Like,
yes. But that's just as important too, like the small little getaways, because it gives you value to feel like you did do something. Yeah. And you'd be surprised. You drive an hour out from where you live, and you're like, "Oh, I never even knew this was here."
Absolutely, absolutely. And sometimes they'll tell you like, just drive, get lost. Like sometimes that's how you find some of the best things.
Yes,
you just drive. Don't even have not so much like an exact destination, but hop in your car, get on. Say you want to get on Route 1. Just ride down Route 1, like purposely get lost, and you'll find some really good treasures.
A couple disclaimers I just want to throw out there. Make sure you have gas.
Oh, yes.
Gas money. That your car can handle it and all that fun jazz. That you're mindful where you get lost at. Okay, friends, because I don't want you to go somewhere and be like, no. Disclaimer. Use wisdom and all your wisdom use and get some understanding so that you keep yourself protected and safe. Okay. God bless. So yes,
GPS can get you lost too. So
yeah. all them detours after, I'd be like, well, where am I? Turn left, turn right, all crisscross applesauce. So again, sometimes we got to go back old school and pull out that hand map that we printed out. Okay, this is where it connects. Got it.
MapQuest?
Yes.
MapQuest don't work.
Oh, goodness. Those were the days.
It was like 30 pages.
30 pages. And then I used to map it out. So if this is the best stop, this is the best way to go. So let's go here first, then here, and then I get back here. Those were the days.
Yes.
You know, we take so many things for granted. And again, the GPSs are great because they are able to be updated a little bit quicker than that paper that you already printed out, and let you know of detours and things. But again, finding out what's good for you. But that was the part that you said of like, if a house is good for you or if an apartment is good for you. And then this piece of life be life. And I really want to drive home of in virtue, finding what works for you. Because like I can see somebody else and feel like, oh, I want to do that. I want to be that. And if our bank accounts don't match up to do that, it's not going to be able to get done. If our character don't match up to do that, it's not going to be able to get done. So first, I want you to share a little bit about what it is that you do. And then I want us to hone in on those pieces of finding the balance of being who you are authentically and loving who you are genuinely.
Okay. So I'm a CEO and founder of Virtue Personal Development Group, which is a personal growth and professional services, personal development services organization. We focus on personal growth, leadership, character development, and communication. Utilizing speaking, coaching, and training. So dealing with individuals who are looking to, increase or improve in their own personal growth and development. What was your other question? I'm sorry.
The little bit of what you do and how finding a balance for our listeners to know what is for me, what's not for me, what I should be doing, what I shouldn't be doing. Like finding the comfort level of what works for you and not trying to compare yourself so much to other people. And then we'll go in more of the challenge of why we do those things.
Right. No, I think you made a good point. It's about comparison, but I think it's about being self-aware and knowing, being comfortable with who you are. And then also realizing that it's okay if you don't have all those things, but it really does deal with who you are, knowing who you are. I think that's a key point. Knowing yourself as an individual, knowing what you have, your skills, your gifts, your strengths, being okay with yourself. Then you're not so much looking at other people so much or envying or wanting what they have. Knowing that what you have is okay. Knowing that, staying in your lane, knowing your purpose. And I mean, it's a journey to get to know all of that stuff. But I think once we become comfortable with that, I think it's much easier.
So let me be the child again. You ready?
Sure. Let's go.
Because John and them be all on Facebook and they like living their best life and they doing this. They got this, that. And I'm saying this, that, because whatever it is, because we see people and be like, it hurts us a little bit or it tucks us a little bit because we're like, hey, I should be there too. What's the that's a fight right there sometimes, right?
Yeah, it is a fight.
Busting my butt and it ain't adding up. The math ain't mathing. Please help me.
But we don't know what John got going on once he stops filming. When he cuts his live off, we don't know what he's doing. We don't know. Look, John could be standing in front of like some type of mural or something like that. We don't know, what's going on with him once he's done. Like, I mean, he may not have no lights.
He may not have no lights.
So, I mean, just like he could be in somebody's house.
Yes.
Not his own. So, like, we just don't know. Like, people present what they want us to see.
Yes. And that's the part right there. Remembering that piece. Like, it looks grand. It looks amazing. But behind the scene, what's going on, right? So, on a self-care one with Dr. Kia, she was sharing how she'd been married all these years, but she was like, you can count on one hand how many pictures you see and things that sort, because she said there's so many times that you'll see people, and and they don't always tell the truth of it, of how they were married, but they were just arguing in the car before they got to the destination, or how they came in separate cars, but they walked in like they was together, but they ain't really doing good. You know, back in the day they had where the couples would sleep in separate beds and things of that sort. And it was just like a random thing, but not a random thing. It was work for them, or it may not have worked for them. I don't know. I wasn't a fly on their wall, right? But how everybody got something different going on, and what they show you is almost like the interview version. You haven't seen them on a job for a couple of days, so you don't know how they really act once they push that time card in. Like, oh, I'm here now. I ain't got to do nothing. Kick my feet up and relax. Right. And that's the challenge, because we see what it is that they're doing, and it looks so great. It looks so grand, but we don't know the blood, sweat, and tears on the other side, or the lack of blood, sweat, and tears. And we're like, well, why can't I?
It's like a highlight reel. Oftentimes, what we're shown.
Yes.
A highlight reel. It's not the work, or, you know, or the lack thereof behind the scenes. We don't see that. We, like I said, we see what people want us to see, and it's deceiving. It's deceiving, and then we, you know, people see that and they're like, I want this. They start to feel some type of way. They begin to feel inadequate, or they feel like they're not enough. You know, I'm not this, I'm not that, I'm not at that level because I don't have that. Truth is, they don't really have it either.
They don't really have it either.
They don't. Unfortunately, they don't. Like I said, it's just a projection. It's what they want us to see.
What they want us to say. And that's good. So, like, I recently got some pictures done, right? I did 2 different sets. One that I'm going to launch next month. Actually, I'll probably launch them both next month. Nevertheless. They was like, you know, the guy was like, you know, you can edit them and things of that sort. I was like, I'm probably not editing them. They gonna get what they get. This is me. This is who I am. Because, right, if you do too much editing and you really like, does it look like me anymore? It's already got your face beat to the guys and things of that sort. And sometimes, again, we put on these airs, we put on these layers, and then it takes a second for the people to get to who the real you is, because who you have put up is that highlight reel. That's not really who you are and what you're doing.
Right. And we have to come to the point, like I said, that's why it's like being self-aware, you know, work on yourself, knowing who you are. Like you do that deep work.
Now let's talk about being self-aware. What is that?
Self-aware is it's knowing yourself as an individual. So it's knowing your triggers, knowing what your values are, knowing what you stand for, those things that represent you as an individual.
So, you know, I love Issa Rae and Insecure, right? Because she would get into that mirror and she would have it out with herself, or really what was going on with herself, that conversation. And sometimes we really got to do that to get into that conversation, what's going on, because somebody else calls us on our stuff. We're like, wait a minute, what? I did a group today with a young lady, and it was like, you can't get upset with somebody when they tell you the truth. I said, you agree or you disagree? She said, why would you ask for somebody for the truth and to get upset? I said, you'd be surprised. Keep on living. She's a young girl, right? But that's what happens, right? We don't want to hear it. This is good too. Regina said the layers protect us. Let's talk about that.
No, they do. The layers of what we present, they do. Like, it keeps us from seeing who we truly are. We just keep putting on stuff, and it stops us from getting to the root of the issue. As to why we may act or react or respond to things the way that we do. I mean, it's stuff that may have happened in your past, things that you may not have received that from, you know, your family members or those who would have poured into you, like your needs, your basic level needs weren't met. And because of that, you respond or you act in a certain way.
Hey, Bro Doc, thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is a good conversation, because these layers, after a while, becomes like a blanket. You know, what is it? Linus? No. Charlie Brown? Somebody?
Linus blanket.
Yeah, okay.
That little blanket.
I was getting there. Was that Linus blanket, right? So then what happens is we put that one blanket on, and then we find another. Like, oh, this warmed me up some more. Let me get another one. After a while, we got all these blankets. It was like, but where are you? We gotta find you, because of that knowledge. The layers also helps you to get to the root piece by piece.
Right.
When we remove them, we gotta take them off, right? And the hard part is that you feel so comfortable. You know, right now we feel comfortable with all these layers of blankets on and jackets on because it's cold outside. But it's about to get warm. We got to take some layers off. We got to show that summer body or that summer body. I don't know what you got, you know? Because now it's a different season. Things are changing. And we have to be able and open and willing to be honest with the person looking back at you when you look in that mirror.
Absolutely. And that takes work. That takes work. And it takes courage too. Like you have to have the courage and like you have to be intentional about it too.
Yes.
To actually want to do that deep work. To be like, okay, I recognize that this, what I'm dealing with, what I am, who I am, like I don't like it. Sometimes you have to get sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yes.
And it's like, okay, I don't like this. I don't like my responses. I don't like how I, just operate or function or respond to certain things. And like, okay, I want to change. I want to, I want to do different.
Yes. Which is why I work to normalize the importance of mental health and addressing it, right? Because if we don't address these things, if we don't address the roots, these weeds gonna keep on coming up, and no matter how much you try to cut them things gonna keep on coming, right? But you offer a service as well to help people. Hence our title tonight in Virtue. Can you tell us a little bit about that service that you offer?
Right. So coaching. Do coaching, do workshops, and in coaching, we focus on self-awareness. So it's to increase individual self-awareness as well as cultivate the greater that's on the inside of them.
Okay.
So knowing who you are. I'll do a DISC assessment. So I'm not sure if you're familiar, if individuals in the audience are familiar with the DISC assessment, but it's a personality assessment, and people are predictably different. So you have the D, the I, the S, and the C, and they it's the different personality types. So some are dominant, some are influencing, some are stable and steady, and some are compliant.
Yes.
But we're all some form of that. Some of us flex in and out. Some of us are stronger in some of those areas. But we'll use that as a basis to just to move forward. So if there's particular goals that they want to work on, at least we have an idea of how they may respond to certain things or how they may react. And it helps with communication as well, because you may be one particular way, you may have one particular personality style, but how you want to be communicated with may not be how someone else wants to be communicated with.
Yes.
So we learn about that as well. That's taught and that's discussed.
So I love the personality test, because people swear they know themselves, but they know the image of themselves that they want other people to know themselves. So when they do that personality, it's like, wait, this is wrong. I need to do this again. And then you get the same thing.
Yes. Like
really finding out who you are.
Oh gosh. Like even looking at mine, like some of the stuff, I was just like, oh my gosh, like really? Like, in just full transparency, I can get things like, I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to do this. I want to do this. And I can get everything that I need to do it, but I won't pull the trigger. Like, I won't pull the trigger. Like, I have to have everything like perfect. Everything has to be good. Like, I won't do it. And I'm just like, you can't. Like, you have to step out.
Yes.
It's okay.
Like,
yes. It's okay to step out. It's okay if you fail.
Yes.
And that was my thing. Like, I was afraid of failing. I was afraid of not having everything in order. All my ducks weren't in a row. I couldn't do this. Or, like, but you can't do that. Like, that stops you.
Yes.
But when I saw that in the assessment, I was like, ew, like, so I was like, all right, now I have to be intentional. Like, I know that's an area that I have to work on. Like, I have to be intentional. It's great to have everything in order, but you have to use it. Like, you have to put it into practice.
Yes.
So that's just one of the areas, like, in terms of self-growth, self-development.
Yes. And I love it because, again, we got to be honest with ourselves. And the benefit of knowing who we are, really doing that inventory, doing that assessment, helps us to tell somebody else, I really don't like when you do that. Now, either they will take your word and say, okay, I'll work to do better. Or they'll take your word and still do it. And then you have to have another conversation, find out, Are we gonna stay on this road, or do we need to part ways? I'm telling you what I need,
Mm-hmm.
and you want me to do these things. I'm working to do the things you said that you need. So we got to meet somewhere so we can figure this out and keep on going in the path. But again, when we know ourselves, we can let other people know. You know, I
Right.
really don't like when you pop your gum like that.
Oh.
It just brings me a bad memory. And sometimes some of these things that we're saying we don't like, people take lightly, but possibly something happened in our past, right? And it
Yes.
comes back up and you do it. I've been snapped out and then you be like, what happened? I'll be like, I told you not to do that. And now you did that. And now this is happening because you did that. Again,
Right.
when we know ourselves and we're trying to share with others who we are, Maya Angelou said, when people tell you who they are,
Yes.
like that. But she
Yes.
said, believe them, right?
Right.
And we not believing in people, or nor are they believing us. So what's a way that we could get through to people where we're trying to tell them who we are, what we like, what we don't like, and they understand and hear the words that are coming out of our mouths?
Absolutely. It's all about communication.
Mm-hmm.
It's having that conversations, being honest with them. Now, if you explain that to them and they don't respect that, then you need to reassess that, reevaluate rather that relationship. Because if they're going to continue to do it and brush aside what you're saying, then they may not necessarily be for you. That may not be a relationship that you want to continue to have. So it's about respecting.
And that's hard too, right? Because I can have a conversation, but they the love of my life, Christina. You telling me that I keep telling them what I want, what I don't want, and they not listening. And you telling me I gotta reevaluate, so then I gotta cut them off. But I really wanted them to be part of my life. Did you really?
No. You may want to reassess that. Like, okay, they're not listening to. So if they're not listening to you with this, imagine you guys are married and you're going further down the road. If they're not listening to you now, what makes you think they're going to listen to you for something even more important in the future?
Baby, if they're not listening to you now. And I think sometimes we miss those signs, right?
Oh yeah, because we're all in love. Like
The honeymoon phase,
enamored
right?
with the person, enamored with the relationship, or sometimes we feel like we're nothing without those individuals.
So I told you I'm watching Love is Blind, right? And this is one couple. I'm not a fan of them. They may or may not be working out. I don't want to spoil nothing for nobody. I'm not quite a fan. However, she did. This is actually any season you can think of. This has happened though. Okay, so she's not really a fan of him. She's not physically attracted to him. But what happened is I like Love is Blind for a couple of reasons. You get to know the person. You don't see the person. You're having these conversations with the person and really get into the meat of what it is you're looking for, what it is you like communicating, right? You know, you ain't touching and feeling, you ain't looking into nobody's eyes because you're looking into somebody's eyes and go to something else and something else and something else. And it's like, you in this situation and you find out, I don't really like this person. However, Love is Blind, you get to meet all these people. And she finally met the person, saw them face to face. She was like, yeah, I was ready to say no the first day. I wasn't really attracted to you, things of that sort. And sometimes we skip important pieces to get to a finish line that's not a good finish line. And then we're in a situation because of that communication. And Regina, you said it good, being willing to let it go, knowing you deserve better. And sometimes we hold on thinking that this is better. Why?
I think in that type of situation, I think it has to do with something. It may have to do with something in their past or something that they, may not have had. They may have had unmet needs. So they've been given this one thing all their life. So they think that's all there is. That's all they can have. When there's so much more out there for them. And it also has to do with knowing and loving themselves. To know that I can have more. There is more for me. But if you're not taught that, if you don't know that, if you're not exposed to it, you wouldn't know to go for more. You wouldn't know to let that thing go.
You wouldn't know to go for more. Let's talk about the second half of this though. Know you deserve better. Some of us get into jobs and we're just so grateful because it's not the first job that we have and we see that we have moved up, not realizing that the capacity of knowledge and experience that we have can take us even further, and we limit ourselves in jobs. We limit ourselves in with cars and things that say, oh no, I'm not gonna be able to do that. Let me just get this. And again, stay in your means. I'm not telling you to go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, okay? Stay in your means. But we limit ourselves in so many areas, thinking that we don't deserve more. I was talking to a young lady. She was messing around with this guy, and after a while, it seemed like she felt that she couldn't get anything better.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't see her value above that because he loved her. He was doing stuff, stuff that she doesn't like. Stuff that she wants more of or desires and things like that. But she's like, well, this is the best I could get. No, sunshine.
Mm-mm.
Either we can work it out and communicate, or you still be able to be willing to let it go to know we deserve better.
Absolutely. You can also attribute that to a fixed mindset too, that this is all I can have. Like I don't deserve better. And that mentality right there needs to be addressed. Like that needs to be ministered to. Like, you can't, as to why. Like, why do you think you can't have better? Why do you think you can't have more? Like those are the types of questions that need to be investigated. Like, to think, like, to do that deep work.
Yes. Now in my world too is minister, but also my world is therapist. We got to get to the root of like, well, what happened where this dot connects to that dot to make it feel like that dot needed to be with this dot, but this dot came along. You did what to really get to the root? So again, removing those layers to really find out what's going on, but being vulnerable,
and that's hard. Being vulnerable is hard because you think you have to present this particular image. You have to be this thing, like you have to be this way. You have to always present, always have to be on.
Yes.
You absolutely don't have to. You're not going to get any further if you don't become vulnerable.
It's so fun. We've all come across somebody where it just means it's always a production when you see them. They are not acting. It's not a scene, but it is their life, and they feel like it has to be that production thing. And it gets frustrating and overwhelmed because it's like, just be who you are. I love you for who you are. I was talking about doing, I was really talking to somebody with some events and things of that sort. And I was like, I probably wouldn't have an open bar. Why? Because I like to sober you. That person that gets a little stuff in their tank, I don't know how it's going to blend, what everything is going on. Can I just get the sober, genuine, authentic you that I've grown to love and appreciate? Because you get a little extra stuff, you might come and act the fool, and I don't want that.
Now, but that person was the loud and drunk one. Is that the one that was celebrated? Because if that was the one that was celebrated, that's feeding something in that person, some unmet need, some unmet, desire. Like that was what was fed. So they're like, okay, this is who I am. This is the type of person that I am. So I'm always going to be that because I'm going to get accepted from that, or I'm going to receive love, or I'm going to receive attention because of that. But they're longing for those things, but it's coming from I guess you would say bad behavior. So to speak.
Yeah.
Just like the child who always acts out. They act out because they really want attention. They really want love. But the only way they know to get that attention or get that love or acceptance is to misbehave. So.
And again, friends, our quote of the day is running through. I'm going to share it again. To live a life of virtue, match up your thoughts, words, and deeds. And again, that's hard because we trying to appease something for ourselves. And if we're not dealing with that issue, just drinking that issue, just smoking that issue, just sexing that issue, just gambling that issue, more damage than good could be getting done. Right. If I'm not dealing with it, it's gonna be a mess. Regina, she said exposure may cause me to be rejected even more. You're absolutely right.
Yep.
But when you have a scab, sometimes we get scabs and sores and things of that sort. And sometimes the doctor's recommendation is that you not cover it.
Oh, yes. Let the air hit it.
Exposure is needed sometimes, friends.
Dry that thing right on up.
And it's not nice because it doesn't look pretty.
Nope.
It doesn't feel good. It gets a little itchy. You want to cover it up because you're ashamed. You don't want people to see it.
But that's how the healing begins.
That's
the healing process.
That's how the healing process begins. And friends, we have to, in this life, be life. And we also got to be honest and say, look, I need help. I can't make it. This is hard. That's our thing. Like if life be lifing, the result is I gotta find somebody to help me because I can't do this by myself. Bro Doc said, go into the right people. Being able to find who that person is that you can go to.
Absolutely. That's where coaches and therapists and counselors come in. Finding someone that you can connect with.
And what's the process in doing that too? Because that could be hard and intimidating, finding somebody to go and talk to about your problems. Because like, are they going to judge me?
Let me say, some of them might. But if they're in the business of making sure that you get healed, that you get whole, that you move forward, they're not going to judge you. They're not. That's not their job. Their job is to help you get to that next spot. Their job is to help you address what may have happened in your past, to deal with that, acknowledge it, and move forward.
Yes.
That coach's job is to help you get from point A to point B. That therapist's job is to help you again address what may have happened in your past so that you can move forward to point B.
Yes. So thank you for your honesty in saying they might, right? Because the truth is they're still human. They're trained to be able to help you with your situation. Story. When I was in school to become a therapist, we would do group therapy with each other. We would therapize each other, do different scenarios and things of that sort. And I would always perform. I didn't have no sense. And I was with the girl. She was being my therapist. And I was like, yeah, because I just be theatrics and all, y'all. We recording this. We got to give us our teacher. I'm giving her a show. She's going to get an A, okay? But she wasn't ready. I didn't tell her. Okay, so she's like, what's going on? It's like, I just keep changing my major, and I just don't know what I want to do about stuff. And she's like, well, why do you keep changing your major after we're going on? After a while, she's like, well, why are you doing it? Let's get to that part. I said, well, my boyfriend, he doing this, but then my ex-boyfriend, he was doing that, but he keep changing his major, and I be like, I just want to have class with him. She's like, she was ready to judge me. Rightfully so, because I was giving her run for her money. However, the principle is we never know what's going to come before us, right? But in that, we are being of support to the people that are before us, putting our issues at the door, outside the door, to be able to be there to help you. But there's sometimes that you may connect with somebody and they don't do you right. There's sometimes you have connected with somebody and they didn't do you right. There's sometimes you went to a doctor that didn't do you right. You went to the mechanic and they just took all your money because they were like, no, this is wrong. Okay, now this is wrong. Oh, this is wrong. For real. This is it. Right? So you have to do trial and error sometimes to find what best fits for you.
Yes. And you may go through a series of people. I mean, I've heard of people that have was like, okay, tried this therapist, didn't work. Went to this therapist, it didn't work. Eventually they found someone that they could connect with and someone who was able to help them. Same with coaches.
Yes.
You may find a coach that, okay, it's not right. And you may meet with the coach the first time and the coach may do a consultation with you. And they're like, you know what? I'll recommend you to someone else. Just simply because I know that I don't necessarily have what it is to help you. I don't have the skills. And that's just being honest.
Yes, yes.
You know what? I can't get you to where you need to go. So allow me to recommend or, encourage them to find elsewhere. And I mean, you can find, in terms of finding how to find one, definitely ask people.
Yes.
Like ask for referrals.
Yeah.
Who have your person going to?
And yes, I'm going back to Love is Blind because the other part I want to say is really giving them a try. A lot of times couples will say when they finally saw the other one, yeah, if I saw him, I probably would have swiped left or I want to give that person a chance. And sometimes we'll go and connect with somebody and we'll prejudge our own selves and thus blocking our help to our healing path. Oh no, she don't know what she's talking about. She too young. She too this. She too that. And then you sit there and talk with her and they read you like a front page paper and help you process like, oh, well, shut your mouth and keep on talking because I also have this issue. Like, what else should I do, doctor?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. And that's happened.
Yeah.
And it's happened before.
Yes.
Like, and I mean, true story. I was like, therapist, I was just like, I don't know. I mean, what do they have to offer? Like, but went in there. So I was just like, okay. Don't you? Sometimes you can. Then again, you can't judge a book by its cover.
Yes.
But then again, it may take one or two tries before you realize. Even 1 or 2 sessions before you
Yes.
realize, okay, this person may not necessarily be for me.
Yes.
So,
don't allow your layers to sabotage your process.
Don't.
Because them layers get comfortable. Again, we in the winter season, you got your blanket on, your foot out or your sock on and things that sort. But when summer comes, you taking them layers off.
Nope.
So it's okay to start the process now of taking away the heavy blanket, putting on the thinner blanket.
And you don't have to do a lot, just a little bit at a time.
Yes.
Sometimes we can't take all of that.
Yes.
And depending upon what we're dealing with, sometimes it can be complex trauma. It can be a whole bunch of things. But one step at a time, too much of anything is not good. Trying to do it all. Like God doesn't even work on us like that. It's a little bit at a time. He doesn't like, take everything off at once.
Yes.
Little by little.
Yes. I like this. Yes, this is why counseling is so needed. It is. And counseling really works on the root problems, really the history and things of that sort. But coaching is helping you in the here and now.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah,
so
present going forward.
Helping you go forward. So sometimes you might be at that life coach is like, wait, pause, pump the brakes. I know you're trying to go for it, but this baggage that you got is just a little bit too much. I need you to go talk to somebody else and then come back to me, and then we can work through those processes to help you get through that. Why? Because it really does take, come on, sis, one step at a time. We're trying to hopscotch, skip, hop, and all those different things, and we missing pieces.
Nope. Absolutely.
We talking about as a kid playing hopscotch, it was some times where, somebody try to throw the rock and get a little further, and then they still mess up. You got to start at 1, then go to 2, then go to 3. It's sometimes that you do get skipped, but you got to even be careful with that, because sometimes that skip causes for a level of you that you hadn't totally tapped into yet.
Yes. And just to go back to what you were saying about the coaching and the therapy, sometimes you can do them both simultaneously. Sometimes you can't, especially if you get stuck at one particular point in the coaching process, and the coach may recognize, like, okay, you're still stuck here. You do need to go back, and not that we're to recommend the therapist, because that's not, what we practice. We don't necessarily recommend them, but we will let them know, like, okay, this is something that you'll want to do. You may want to consult with a therapist or a counselor concerning this issue, and you can work in tandem. Like, they can still do their therapy work and do their coaching. Sometimes they may not be able to. Like, they really need to address that prior issue before and then pick back up.
It's so true. Friends, if you're working, most jobs offer employee assistance program.
Yeah.
It is the most underutilized service ever. It's free counseling. Free. FREE.
Yes. EAP. Go for it.
You don't know the person, they don't know you. You just calling them on the phone. They might be on the other side, just twisting their toes or doing cornrows. Who knows? I don't know. But they on the other side, willing and ready to help you. And free. So if you need somebody to talk to, go ahead and reach out. And sometimes we just need that check-in. And sometimes we're unsure. We do need to talk to somebody.
Yep.
Flat out. You're paying for these benefits. So get the benefits of the extra benefits that they're trying to give you. Because I ain't even talk about how we're not going to the doctor, not going to the dentist, and all them other things.
Nope.
At least get the free stuff they're going to give us from the benefits that we're not using.
Utilize EAP.
Yes.
Support link or whomever. Like, go for it. And then even after that, because I think with my job, I think you get 5. It might be 5 services or 5 sessions that you're able to get. But then you can also check in with your insurance company. They may be able to offer, additional breaks in terms of what, if you continue to go further with your therapist, they may be able to offer, a reduced rate. So just check it out.
Tough conversations, right, friends? So EAP is free. Get it from your job, right? Call the number. If you max out on your services, see if your insurance can cover it, right? If your insurance doesn't cover it, it's not a bad thing to invest in your mental health.
How about it?
It's a lot of people doing free stuff all the time regarding mental health, and we need to tap in on it because we need to make sure our mental is together.
Yes.
Because if not, our thoughts, words, and deeds not going to match up. They're like, well, what's wrong with her? Oh, Sunshine is really going through. Sunshine is going through because Sunshine's not dealing with the stuff that's going on, that's weighing her down, that got all these layers that's about to cause her to go off on somebody.
Right. You are absolutely right. You are absolutely right. Yes. If just go for it. Look, I sure enough got on the horn. I was like, look, just a whole bunch of stuff was going on. I was like, all right,
Yeah.
this is not good.
Yes.
Like how I'm feeling is not good. Let me just reach. Sure enough, got on there, called, and took advantage.
And let's speak on that. What's the excuse me? What's the warning signs that let you know, hey, I need to talk to somebody?
Man, I would say for me personally, when you just find yourself like agitated, or you find yourself just crying for no reason, like, oh my gosh, or just like really irritated, you feel pressure, just like pressure from all, and it's like this pressure that you can't move it. No matter what you do, you cannot move it, or you feel anxiety, like, oh my gosh, it's like the pressure that's on your chest, and it's just like there, it's like almost suffocating, like I can't. Like when you're feeling like that and you feel like that consistently,
Yes.
you need to talk to somebody.
Yes.
You need to talk to someone. And the sad part is so many of us either wear that type of, we'll wear that as a badge of honor, that we take all of this on. It's not good.
It's not good.
It's not good at all. Like you need to let that stuff go. You need to talk it out with someone. Like you definitely need to.
Yes. And that's it, friends. If you feel like the cares of the world are burdening you, it's too heavy, you're struggling to get up, you're not your normal chipper self, or you're noticing that your mood has changed. You know, because sometimes people, places, and things leave us and causes our mood to change and shift. You know, when we pick up on these things, and it's for an extended amount of time, and sometimes I know we say extended amount of time, meaning a couple months or a couple weeks, a couple months, and sometimes they say, or like half a year and things start. But I'd even say a couple days, right? Because there's so much happening. And if I'm not aware and adjusting to something that's changing in my day and in my schedule, something else comes along and it can tick me off, because it's been a buildup of some other stuff that I ain't really dealt with. And now this has happened, and oh shucks, everything about to break loose for real now. So again, tap into that EAP, tap into that service that can help you process those things that are going on, so you don't feel overwhelmed, because life be lifing. You know, that's a true fact.
Yes. I'm telling you, like we have a program on my job, and not only like they'll do coaching for other things too, not aside from EAP. You know, that's a service, but then there's another program that we have on my job. I think it's through Virgin Pulse, but they offer coaching sessions too. So if your job offers anything like that, any type of, you know, incentive program, please take advantage of it, because they're offering it to you. You don't have to pay anything for some of these things. So just get all you can. You work in there 8, 9, 10, 12 hours a day. Like, look, they're getting work out of you. Get something out of them.
They can work out of you. And friends, these 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 hours that we give in our jobs, when we only supposed to get them 8, be careful of that too. Why? Because we don't want to burn out. And then when we get home, the family like, well, what's going on with her? What's going on with him? You got to still find that balance. And I get it. There are some seasons that does require a little bit more of us, but let's not make it a habit, friends. Let's not make it a habit. You know, I don't remember. This was good. 2 questions. Why did you go in this field to be a life coach?
Okay. It wasn't, let me put it just so happened, I happened to fall into this.
Okay.
Everything. So, long story short, I went to grad school, earned my MBA in leadership ethics and organizational sustainability. Was only out of like the 15 plus classes that we were allowed to take, only 3 of them were in my concentration. So I was like, all right, I got to figure out, like, I have to keep learning about this stuff. Like, I got to keep building on the foundation, leadership, and everything like that. Did some research. I saw that John Maxwell, you know, I signed up. He's like the leadership guru. Saw that he had like a listserv or whatever, signed up for that. Then saw that he offered a certification program. And I was like, okay. So I kind of vacillated over that for a year, because I was like, Dak, I just got to grad school. I'm not trying to do no more classes. But I was like, I just kept, reading up and seeing things. And then I saw that he offered a certification. I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. So I went ahead, got certified through his program where I am, allowed to use his materials to teach, to coach, do all of that. And from there, I was like, okay, I have this information here that's to help people. Like, just go for it, use it. I like helping people anyway. If I can provide anybody with any type of information that's going to help them or make something, easier, more practical, that'll help them get what it is that they need or obtain whatever it is that they need, then I'm going to give it. So
I
that's
love
pretty
it.
much how I fell into that.
I love it. And friends, there are some things that you enjoy doing that brings you joy that you could fall into. That helps you to manage this thing called life a little bit easier and better because you're doing something that brings you joy. Again, having boundaries and balance with it. But when you're doing something that you enjoy doing, I enjoy doing Jen Cares. I was definitely telling Christina before I came on, like, I wonder how much longer this gonna be, though, because like I also want to stay relevant. I don't want to just be doing something. I want it to be making a great impact. But you want to enjoy whatever it is that you are doing. And that's so, so important. Christina, what's something you want us to walk away with?
I would say be kind to yourself and that this life is a journey and that whatever it is that you're trying to do, it's going to take time. Whatever you're pursuing, whatever you're looking to obtain, there's a process in it. And oftentimes we don't realize that there's a process. And we want to hurry up and get there quickly. And then we're disappointed because it doesn't happen right away. But if we have the frame of mind that this is a journey, it'll help it go a little bit smoother. It may be a bit easier. You'll get there. It won't be as rough. I mean, you may have your rough spots, but it won't be as rough or as hard because you got that frame of mind that, okay, this is a journey. So if it doesn't happen tomorrow, it's okay. It's still going to happen. So that would be something to definitely, be kind to yourself. It's a journey. You'll get there.
It's still going to happen. It's a journey. Be kind to yourself. Friends. Life be lifing. But it's a journey. It's a process. Be kind to yourself. And sometimes we limit ourselves with the capacity of the things that we're doing. We're doing amazing things, but we still feel like we're not doing enough. Be kind to yourself. You're still getting up and trying again. When you could have very well given up. When it could have very well taken you out. You have that strength to muster up. So continue to be kind to yourself. It's a process. It will happen. Christina, I thank you so much for joining us. This was really good. I'm excited to watch this recap as well. I always like to watch it again to get my nuggets and things of that sort because it's always something good shared. And I just always want to remind myself of these pieces because it's great to help and encourage others, but it also encourages and helps me. So I thank you so, so very much for joining us. Keep on keeping on.
Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate you having me. I hope I said something that, benefited others, that they're able to take it with them.
I know you did. So again, I thank you so much. May you have a great, great evening.
Yes, you do the same.
Yes. Oh, friends, we had the amazing Christina. That was good, friends. Did you enjoy it? Be kind to yourself. It's a process. It will happen. This thing called life can get hard, but friends, you can make it. I believe in you. Don't forget our quote of the day. To live a life of virtue, match up your thoughts, words, and deeds. Friends, it is possible to live a life of virtue. Just make sure we're matching up our thoughts, our words, and our deeds, because sometimes we say something and our actions say something different, and then the deed. Let's try to get alignment, okay? Get some stability in our lives, all right? Be sure to join us next week as we will have Act and Grow with Steve the Legacy. It's going to be good. He's doing some amazing things in the community. I can't wait to have him on to share those things that he's doing. Friends, I do hope that you enjoyed this on tonight. I love you all for real. Thank you to all the amazing guests of March for our I'm Still Marching. If you missed any episode, be sure to go back and catch a replay on YouTube or on Facebook. Thank you for liking. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for even watching. I truly do appreciate each and every one of you. I hope that you share something that is share something that is said with somebody to help encourage them to keep on going on in this thing called life. I love you all for real. Until next time, good night.
Friends, we thank you for joining Jen Cares this week. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Unable to watch us live? Be sure to find us on your favorite podcast platform. You can also visit our website, chozencounselors.com. That's Chozen with a Z, so that you can stay in the know and most of all, never miss a show. If you found value in this episode, we'd appreciate you sharing it with a friend. Most of all, be sure to tune in for our next episode next Monday at 8 p.m. right here as we specialize in bringing the community to you.